Aloha everybody, Kaiwaza with you. Welcome back to my channel. And it's time for something we haven't had in a while, which is a Hawaiian record update. My very large collection. It's about 2,000, I don't even know now. I think it's probably like 2,600 something Hawaiian albums. It's been a hot minute since I've done an update. I didn't think I'd gotten that many, so I was just kind of putting it on the back burner, and I thought, okay, when I feel like I have enough to do a update video of new acquisitions, then I'll do a video. And today I started pulling things out and realized I kind of had gotten more than I thought the past 6 months. So I actually have enough to do a couple of videos of Hawaiian. These are Hawaiian vinyl records, Polynesian exotica music that has been added to my collection in the past 6 months. 6 months ago was when I did episode or Hawaiian record update number 300, literally 300 videos, that series showing all my Hawaiian records, and now this is 301 today. So let's get started at Hawaiian Polynesian exotica records I've gotten in the past 6 months. First up is one of these really beautiful, I love these records from Tahiti that are glossy covers. I know they maybe don't show as well here because of all the glare and whatever, but the glossiness, I'm very attracted to it. See, it's glossy, but very beautiful. And they always have very beautiful photographs on them. This album simply called Tahiti, and it is from, well, it says it's 1963. The recordings are 1963 originally. I don't think this record would have come out in 63 looking like this. I guess, I don't know, maybe I would say the 70s really is when they did a ton of these, but maybe it was 63, I don't know. I think these recordings on this were old when the record was made, I think. These are like already existing sort of compilation thing of stuff that was already out there. From Phillips Records, it says 1963. Artistic supervision by George Tapare, or Jorge's, or George's Tapare. I didn't do French stuff very well. I don't know. George's Tapare. But it's different artists under his supervision. Nice record. I mean, nothing exceptional, whatever, just sort of your standard Tahitian fare with a lovely cover. Next up, a very beautiful box set. It's a small box set, just 2 records, but wow, it's really beautiful. I got it it's from Japan. Things coming from Japan tend to be very expensive. Usually the records themselves, and then the shipping costs out of Japan. It's very expensive. I got this one only because it was being offered very cheap. I don't know why. And I got it mainly because of the cover, to be honest with you. The cover model is somebody that I'm interested in, and she appears on a few covers, and I'd not seen this one before. So I kind of snatched it up, but it is of interest musically as well. It's called An Outstanding Collection of Hawaiian Great Music, Aloha from Hawaii. Beautiful box set. Recorded at the Sounds of Hawaii studio in Hawaii, so it was recorded here, but released in Japan for a Japanese market, not released in the United States. And there are a lot of records like that, but Hawaiian records that were done for Japan only. Beautiful, very solid box. And let me open this up here. Yeah, comes with a beautiful booklet that, tells you about the artists and the songs and the recording session, whatever, blah, 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 blah. This actually, Pua Almeida and then Barney, there's two instrumental groups, Pua Almeida's instrumental group and Barney Isaac's instrumental group. And then there are 2 songs from Ilima Baker right there. This also was why it was of interest to me. Ilima Baker, not an artist that there's a lot of music out there by. And then there are some by Marlene Tsai, but these were previously recorded, already available Marlene Tsai tracks, so not anything unique there.
Papa he nalu, Papa he nalu, he Malia. On a little bamboo bridge by the waters of Kalua, we found a paradise for 2. While we were gazing in the water,
it's gorgeous. It's just a beautiful set. 2 records. Polydor of Japan, 1963 is the year. And just to tell you, Ilima Baker has just 2 songs on it, but they are 2 songs that I've not heard from her, because the only thing I have from Ilima Baker is this record, Ilima, and it only has 7 songs on it. The first side is religious songs, and the second side are Hawaiian songs, and that's all that I have from Ilima Baker. And this is like a private pressing recording. So I was excited to see on here there are 2 songs, Mekanani a Okaupo and Kaimana Hila, or Diamond Head, by her, and they are unique in that they're not available anywhere else to my knowledge. Now maybe there is in fact a record recorded in Japan somewhere, just Ilima Baker, and these 2 songs were taken from there. That's entirely possible. I'd love to find it if there is, but it's kind of hard to research sometimes the records in Japan, because sites like Discogs, they don't want you to use American, English lettering. They want it to be the Japanese, and you can't find it. If you don't know it, you can't find that stuff. So it's frustrating. But anyway, Ilima Baker, and then we're going to talk for a minute about this model. I don't know what her name is, but I have a few records. One of the records from my childhood I've had for many, many years, my grandfather had, is this one, Hawaii William K. Aloha. Love the record so much, can't even tell you. But I also love the picture. It's unusual. She's very beautiful. Kind of interesting that she seems to have some gray hair. I think it's a different look. I don't know who she is, so I've always been on the lookout and have come across a few records with her on the cover. Haven't come across any postcards, because a lot of times these women were on these Hawaiian records were professional hula dancers and or professional models. So I'm not sure what she was or where she was, whether she was, I think she was in Hawaii, because I think most of these pictures were actually taken in Hawaii. Here's another one on the Kalima Hawaiians. You can see her gray hair there a little more profoundly, but love that picture. There's a couple others I don't have yet that I have pictures of floating out there somewhere, and then this one. But I don't know who she is, but it's fascinating to me, very different looking. So yeah, Aloha from Hawaii, 1963, Japanese set.
Aloha Malihini. Escape the heat, the wretched heat of this summer by tuning into live365.com and escaping with me to an old-fashioned Hawaiian paradise. It's called Hawaiian Hi-Fi Radio. And there, Mr. Kaiwaza is spinning lovely old vintage platters or phono discs or vinyls or records or whatever you call those things. You remember those. Yeah, those things. He spins those. He has literally thousands of vintage Hawaiian recordings. And they're playing 24/7 on Hawaiian Hi-Fi Radio. So sit with me in the shade of this palm tree and let's relax, unwind, and cool off to the sounds of old Polynesian paradises. That's Hawaiian Hi-Fi Radio, and you can listen just by clicking on the link in the description or Google Hawaiian Hi-Fi Radio on live365.com.
Now again, here's another Tahitian record. This one from this, I don't think there's a date on it, but it's very 70s. This again is very 70s, 80s. Monoiti Records. This is a Gatefold. Joel and his folkloric group, Maeva Tahiti, Echoes of the South Seas, which says the same thing on the back in English. That's Joel right there. Gatefold, all kinds of pictures on the inside of this group. Now, this is a group that performed in Tahiti. I don't know if they traveled overseas. There were several groups during the 70s and maybe early 80s, I know, that traveled, did tours around the world, putting on very elaborate Tahitian shows. I don't know if Joel was one of them. It doesn't really talk about them going overseas. Well, yes, it does. Okay. Okay. They did. Yep, they sure did. I just read that. Anyway, yes. And this is a very typical format of the Tahitian records, again, of this time, which is it's a mixture of group vocals, a few soloists, always some Tahitian drumming, very exciting. And I usually find myself personally that there are usually one or two songs that will stand out to me on these records as being really a pretty song, a really evocative song. And then I love the drumming myself as well. So that's this one, Joel and his folkloric group, Maeva Tahiti. Now I have two production library records. What are production library records? If you don't know, quickly, they are music recordings that were done, not for airplay, not for the idea that, oh, we're going to put out this record and people are going to play it on the air and it'll be a #1 song. No, these are done, production library records were done specifically, usually by a particular company would release many production records. And they're done for certain, for promotion, for production, literally, for radio stations, TVs, films, people doing production. So if you were doing, and for us, example, with Hawaiian music, maybe you would be doing local commercials for your grocery store that was having Hawaiian days or something back in the 60s or whatever, and they were having pineapple sales and whatever. So, fruit cocktail sales and that kind of thing. So you would have this music to use as background music for your commercials, production music that was like Hawaiian music to use specifically for, legally specifically to use in commercials, travel logs, things like that. So I love production library music because it tends to be, as far as Hawaiian or Polynesian themes go, I love it anyway. Like for mood music, I just love it. And I love it in the Hawaiian stuff because they tend to often be very, SpongeBob SquarePantsy kind of Hawaiian music, which I love. So I enjoy production records. Here's one that's a CD. I don't know anything about it. It's called Wild. The company is Wild Whirled Music. Whirled, I mean, not just world, but Whirled Music. And this is number 44, disc number 44. So there must have been a lot of discs with different themes. The theme of this one is Aloha from Waikiki. Doesn't list any particular artists. Songwriters were Dean Ernest and Ken Faragali, but it doesn't say anything about the artists. But instrumentals, it does say full mixes. It describes on the back, what they are. On the front, it says, the beautiful music of Hawaii, Aloha from Hawaii, hula the night away with guitars, slack key, and Hawaiian guitars, with ukuleles, slack key, and Hawaiian guitars. And that's exactly what it is. I like this record in particular also because there's no synthesizers in it. Sometimes these kind of things tend to get like weird synthesizers along with the Hawaiian guitars and ukuleles, and then it just adds a whole kind of weird level that I'm not necessarily that interested in. This one is straight up, instrumentals. It actually is just Hawaiian guitar, slack key guitar, and ukulele, and sometimes all three of them playing together on numbers. So kind of nice stuff. It is a little it's a SpongeBob SquarePantsy enough that it appeals to me to be a little bit humorous, and I sort of like it, but I also just genuinely, it's nice. In fact, today I was just listening to the whole thing because it has not only, similar to many production CDs, once they get, the records too did it. There's like 5 different cuts of each song. There's a full length cut that they go through first, full length of the song. And then they did 60, 30, 15 second, and 10-second editions. So you could use them for little stingers. You could use it underneath a 30-second commercial. There'd be like 30 seconds worth of that music. Kind of a cool concept. So I like this one. I wonder if they did any other. I have to kind of try and find out about them. I don't know. Wild Whirled. Then the other one I have is much older. This one is from 1969. It's by the Wolfe Limited. Wolfe, a well-known Music Wolfe production company, who did, if you want to look them up, ended up doing like, I don't know, hundreds of production records for theaters and commercial TVs and radio stations and whatever. This one is called, it's a 10-inch, 33 RPM. Blue Pacific, the music of Peter Reno. So Peter Reno is the composer of all of these songs. This one really, it's not purely Hawaiian. It's kind of a mix of Latin and Polynesian themed music. It's a mashup of both. And I enjoyed it. It wasn't super, it's a lovely little sleeve, we should see, with the plastic inside, very nice, and nice label. Yeah, like I said, some of it's more Latin, and then some of it's kind of Hawaiian-esque. if you look them up, it's interesting, D. Wolfe, how many production records they did. I have some other stuff from them later too that was a Hawaiian theme. This particular one was in the D. Wolfe Music Library Incorporated in New York, New York. It's got the little stamp on it. Finally, today we look at a Hawaiian record from Switzerland, home of Hawaiian music. Just kidding. I do, believe it or not, have several Hawaiian records that have come out of Switzerland. Not altogether bad, actually. And this one, no exception. I had several records by him. Gene Hemmer, I'm not sure how he would pronounce that. Adieu, Hawaii, or Goodbye, Hawaii. Now, I have had several records from Gene Hemmer before. They're all from the 70s, like this is 1979, this one. The first one I got I loved, called Hawaii, Wonderland is Hawaii. I loved that one. And then I've gotten a couple others since then, and then this one, and these ones, maybe I like a little bit less than that. That first one I had, Wonderland and Hawaii. Wonderland is Hawaii was a peak for me, like that one was really good. I'm not gonna say that he's necessarily technically the greatest player, like he's, you know, doing amazing things with the steel guitar. It's pretty straightforward playing. And I know I am one for always complaining that I think sometimes the steel guitars on some records would benefit from a little more reverb. They would sound better. I think in his case, though, there's a lot of reverb sometimes on this, and I'm like, you can pull it in a little bit, like pull it in a little bit more, make it a little bit closer. It's so far away. But yeah. His records because he does do a lot of original compositions or new songs. For example, this one has how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He wrote 6. He wrote half of the songs on this album, so that's kind of nice. I like to hear new music, a new person's idea, different idea. And also what I love about this album, shocking. This was shocking. You know, you think you know everything, or you think you know all these amazing details, and then you learn something that just shocks you. For me, there was a shock on this record. I didn't even know when I ordered it. I didn't realize it until I got it in front of me, and I was playing it, and I'm like, what? One of my favorite songs, it's a very annoying song, talking about SpongeBob SquarePants, but one of my favorite Hawaiian groups is the Waikikis from Belgium. You know, total SpongeBob SquarePants. And one of their favorite songs that I did, that I uploaded not too long ago to this station, so you can check it out, check out the song, is called Waikiki Parade. Kind of an annoying song. I love it, loved it as a kid, still love it as an adult. And the Waikikis did the only version of it I've ever heard. I mean, nobody else has ever done it, to my knowledge. It's on this record. Gene Hemmer did a cover of Waikiki Parade. He called it Hawaii Parade, which is why I didn't know about it until I was playing it. Uses a different name, but I'm like, this is Waikiki Parade. Are you kidding me? What? It's not that amazing of a rendition or anything. It doesn't like challenge the original even remotely, but you know, you learn something every day. And I'm like, well, good old Gene Hemmer, man. He redid Waikiki Parade. Props to him. Props to him. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more. Hit that notification bell so you'll know the second I upload something. Make sure you set your alarm, you know, so it'll wake you up in the middle of the night and you can just go, oh my God, he's got a new video. I have to watch it. I'm kidding. Anyway, thank you for watching, and please comment below if you have any of these records or any interest in them or comments about them. I always enjoy the chit chat below in the comments, and don't forget that you can listen to Hawaiian Hi-Fi Radio and hear selections from these records, which are up and running 24/7 on Hawaiian Hi-Fi Radio, live365.com. If you like, you can just click on the link below, take you right there, or just go to live365.com, look up Hawaiian Hi-Fi, or just Google Hawaiian Hi-Fi Radio. It'll show up, however you do it. So thanks for watching. Cheap Lounge coming up next very soon. There's a Cheap Lounge edition I have to do in the next couple days, and you'll understand that when I put it up. So we'll talk to you later. Aloha.